Stephen, you're impressed with reporting in the Sunday Post today?
Yes. At a time when newspapers across Scotland are cutting back, it is very pleasing, and it reminds us of how important it is that Sunday journalism continues and that print journalism continues to be invested. Marion Scott, who's the chief reporter of the Sunday Post, has done a great job where she's actually got... What's interesting in journalism is it's often good to get people to talk about things, but when you have physical paperwork, it's so much better. So what she's got is the Safety Inspector's report, the Health and Safety Executive's damning 9-page report that went to the managers at the Queen Elizabeth University Hospital, and it's effectively uncovering basic failures in training staff and the handling of infectious diseases. So it's really good, solid journalism. It's absolutely in the public interest, and it's also grounded in paperwork, which, as we know, is increasingly important because it allows you to point out exactly what's happened, when it was happened, and when people were alerted. And it's just the first of a triple whammy of blows to the NHS in the west coast of Scotland, because we have the Sunday Post, Marion Scott's excellent story, and then in the Mail on Sunday another very good story, which is pointing out that another child was infected because of problem bacteria in the water supply, and that was in September. So it's not, there's no excuse now for these are historical cases. And then we've got the Herald, which is talking about a patient's dreadful experiences at the Royal Alexandra in Paisley. So effectively, as I say, it's a triple whammy, but it's all good, solid journalism, bringing us things that we did not apparently know about a situation which is escalating into what we've seen already at the end of the week, where the trust was moved into the Scottish equivalent of special measures.
Yeah, and Katie, Ruth Davidson's been talking about this in her column in the Mail on Sunday.
In the Mail, yes, she has. I mean, it's really, her column is entitled, Lies, More Lies, and Why This Minister Has to Go. But it's not just a sort of a diatribe against how this has all been dealt with by the First Minister, how it now seems an us against them, where we can't get any real
So to be clear, she's not suggesting the First Minister goes, she's suggesting Jean Freeman goes.
Suggesting Jean Freeman goes. But she also tells us some things which I didn't actually know, that 6 out of Scotland's 14 health boards are now in special measures. That is astonishing.
45%.
That's and also when we're continually in the Scottish Parliament anyway, the Scottish Health Service is held up as being so much better than the English Health Service. I think 6 out of 14 being in special measures is not a good look.
And Stephen, the Herald was also suggesting in that piece that actually this could be an indicator of very serious winter crisis to come, if already we're seeing these hospitals under pressure. Yeah, where do people go if they have to be transferred? Although they're taking quite a big look ahead of what might happen and what this tells us about where we are at the moment.
Absolutely, because the situation we're in is that weather reports are saying that we're potentially staring down the barrel of the worst winter in 10 years. And if this is the crisis or the problems that we're having in November, we can only imagine how it will be escalating in December, January and February as the winter deepens, as NHS accident emergencies and wards are put under increasing pressure. So absolutely, it is a major cause of concern.
And Stephen, just before we leave the health stories, and we should make it absolutely clear this is not something that's happened in Scotland, this is something that's happened in England, but you think it points up the mindset of senior managers in health services, some of them at least.
Yeah, there's an interesting story in 2 seconds.
Is it the Herald?
Was it? I thought it was.
I've got it here. No, I have it here. That was a small drum roll of suspense.
Yeah, it wouldn't be the Herald.
It was it's a story in the Sunday Mirror, which is effectively looking at it's a £300,000 a year NHS boss, and it's at South Tees NHS Foundation Trust, and she was revealed that she put £150 worth of parking fines, which she incurred on her expenses. So effectively, you're earning that kind of money. You're in the position that the many staff are in down south, where they're paying for parking. But when you're fined, she put her expenses on. Sorry, she put her fines on expenses. And I think it's it's this good journalism, but that puts people in authority and power under proper scrutiny.
Yeah, and speaks to their general attitude to how they should be treated as compared to the staff.
I would like to see the member of staff who tried to, the ordinary member of staff of the NHS who tried to put that on expenses.
Yeah, if indeed they had any expenses to put it on.